There's this phrase that's been floating around the interwebs, and it's made its way to meme lore at this point. And I was reminded of it as I was watching like an old rerun of a show. Now, it came from this heated moment of a reality show. Don't judge me, you might know what I'm talking about. But in the show, the reality TV actors, stars, were in an argument. The voices were raised, tensions were real high. Somebody was feeling a little froggy and a little bold. And right in the middle of this argument came the line. And the line was, "So who gonna check me, boo?" It's funny to me as I think about it, but when people say it, they say it with an inflection, with a certain energy behind it. It's defiant, confident, unbothered. It's a posture of someone saying, "I'm good. I don't have to answer to anyone." And on the surface, that can feel really empowering. But as I get a little older, I think that came out maybe 14 years ago. So the older I get, the more that phrase has started to land just a little differently with me. Because life has a way of answering that very question. If we're honest, the question isn't whether you'll be checked. The question is who is going to be doing the checking. And as we move through life, there are really three who's that will check you, whether you like it or not. And the first who is going to be life itself. The experiences, circumstances, consequences. I can promise you, life will check everyone. Sometimes the checking is gently, sometimes abruptly. Life checks us through missed opportunities, through repeated patterns, through seasons that don't go the way we intended or planned them to go, through doors that stay closed no matter how hard you knock on it. See, life is a patient teacher. And if we don't learn the lesson the first time, it has no problem remediating and bringing that thing back around to you. See, you may have the same situation, different settings, same challenges, new faces. That's you being checked, not as a punishment, but as information. Life isn't asking if you're ready. Life is just responding to how you are showing up presently. The second who is other people. Now, I know from the show and how I described it, it was a confrontation with other people, but now this is the one that actually rubs folks the wrong way because we make it about the other person. Because see, no one likes the idea of being checked by somebody else. But people check us all the time, whether it's aggressive or tense, but sometimes it's just through feedback, through conflicts, disagreements, through boundaries, disappointments. Sometimes it's distance where they check out and silence. Sometimes people check us directly, in your face, via that text message, and sometimes it's just indirectly through ghosting, ignoring, or we would call it, because again, we make it about the other person, they acting funny. And not every check from another person, how about this? I'll be straight up. Not every check from other people is fair. Sometimes it's inaccurate. Or how about this? Sometimes it's not even kind. But many of them are revealing. They show us how we're being experienced by other people. Sometimes they show us the impact that we're having. They show us what we might not be seeing in ourselves yet. Being checked by other people doesn't mean surrendering your autonomy. It means staying teachable, being open to feedback. There's a difference between being controlled and informed. And then there's like the last who, the third thing that was going to check you. And to me, this is the most important who is going to check me. And that person is you. You should be the one that's checking you. You should be the one that is the first to check your motives, your thoughts. And this is the part that changes everything when you recognize that. See, self-checking, although we kind of said it in an aggressive kind of way, it's not self-criticism. It's self respect. See, when we think of self checking, it may seem simple, but I can tell you it's definitely not shallow. See, it's evaluating how you show up in rooms, it's paying attention to your tone, not just your words. It's noticing the assumptions you're making before you speak or react to something. It's asking yourself, what story are you telling yourself in your head that may not actually be true, but is causing you to act a certain way. It's giving yourself space enough to examine your intentions before you try to defend your behavior. And this is not intended to beat yourself up. It's just intended to be honest with yourself. It's pausing long enough to ask yourself, why did that reaction come up in me? Why does this pattern keeps coming back and repeating? Why does this situation that I'm in feel so familiar? And how about this one? What part of this that I'm in do I actually own is because of something that I've done? When you check yourself, you don't need life to hit as hard to get your attention. When you check yourself, you don't put other people in a position of having to do it for you. See, it's about you becoming proactive instead of reactive. It's about you taking the time to do the work. It's about you allowing yourself space to be able to process your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. It's about you being able to check in and see if you need some support, whether it's a therapist, a coach. How about this? You and your journal. And here's what happens. Here's the shift. When you become the one doing the checking, your experiences change. And it has nothing to do with life becoming or getting easier, but because you're getting clearer on things. You start recognizing situations sooner, you remove yourself earlier, you manage the challenges in life with more intention. Your relationships change. You learn to communicate better. How about this? You listen more honestly. You stop taking everything personally. You start to influence the room instead of reacting to it. I heard it once said that our job in life, we're supposed to be thermostats instead of thermometers. And if you don't know the difference between the two, a thermometer is something that you use to measure the temperature, whereas thermostats, you know what they do? They change temperatures. If the room is a little too hot, they can cool it down. If the room's a little too cold, they can warm it up. So we have to learn to influence rooms instead of reacting to them. And even the consequences we may experience, they start to change. See, because the consequences, they're still there. They're less chaotic, maybe a little less dramatic. Maybe, how about this, less repetitive because we're learning the lessons as we go. Because growth shortens the lessons because every time I go through something, I'm self-checking myself, I'm regulating myself, but I'm carrying forward the lessons and understandings that I have to the next chapter or the next difficult season that I'm in. So now, when I hear that phrase, who gonna check me, boo? My answer's different. I understand that life will. I understand that people will. But if you're serious about your growth, your progression, your evolution, you need to be the first one to check you. That's when you start to mature. That's leadership, self-leadership. And most importantly, that's freedom. Because I don't need life. I don't need people to check me because I'm the one checking myself. And see, that's the quiet work of self-governance because I can tell you it changes everything. When I check me, I don't need people to do it. Life is going to do something, but the consequences are different. The experiences are different. So here's the reflection that I'll leave with you today. Where in your life are you still waiting for someone else to check you instead of doing the work yourself? And I sit with that. And as always, guys, I love you much.